Hey guys, welcome to Awake and Activate. Tonight I've got Dead GPK and My Sky 5D. Down in the show more notes, you will see that their links to their channels are located down there for you to subscribe to them. Um, Both of them are phenomenal sky watchers, and I got some amazing captures on May 31st, 2020. After giving the message of unconditional love, my skies just kind of blew up. And I want to say that these images were taken all at the same time, just different areas of the sky. So as we go through, each of these images, I'm going to want GPK and Mike's input, as they are and have been doing this for years and understand this phenomena, where I just explain how what's going on in you will reflect out around you. So, without any further ado, I'm going to allow GPK to tell you a little bit about, his work, his channel, what he does. And Mike's kind of popping in and out on this. So, you know, as he comes back, I'll keep letting them back in. So,
Hello. Can you hear me?
yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
How's it going? Nice guys.
Hey, great. I want to say hello to everyone here. I can't really see the chat right now. I tried to jump over and it bumped me off, so I'm not sure if you're
Well,
live.
right now, Mike,
Hello,
when you fell
Jackie.
out, I introduced, GPK and you, and then he's telling a little bit about himself a little bit, and then we're going to go to you and have you tell a little bit about what you do in your channel, and then move forward. Okay?
Got it.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, my channel is Dead GPK. A lot of people ask, what that stands for, and of course it's Garbage Pail Kids. Those little trading cards from the mid '80s, bubblegum cards, and that's basically how I got my name. I've been using that for a long, long time. But my channel is just mainly a Skywatcher channel, but I also do cover uh, Mandela effects and odd things I've come across on the internet and stuff. Uh, I do weekly videos, and also uh, I try to do a bi-weekly live stream. Uh, that's what you'll find on my channel right now.
Awesome. I didn't know that you did bi-weekly live streams. I need to be paying attention. And maybe if you would share those in that special room, it would get my attention quicker.
Yeah, I'll be sure to share it out. I was on Twitter for a while, but I deleted that. Uh,
Oh, okay.
it really wasn't for me there that place. So
And I think pretty much all three of us have been Mandela affected, which is something that has pretty much brought this amazing community of diverse things that everybody does together. Okay, Mike, what's going on in your world, and tell us a little bit about your channel and what you do.
Yeah, so I've been doing this for about 6 or 7 years. I actually started to the Catalyst 9 is when I started recognizing those. And raising my kids. I didn't really have a lot of time to sit down and delve into it, but around 2011 I did. And you know how we come across all of that victimization narrative, that how we're being attacked and all the details, and it's real pumped at us. And I got locked into that for until about 2014 is when I started to be able to break free from that kind of mind control that that victimization narrative puts us in. And my channel when I started was probably 2013 was my first video, and it was all based around we're being nano poisoned. All life is threatened. We're never going to make it till, a couple Christmases more. And my mission to fix everything, because I was externally looking at all of this, was that I'll just have to be the best one to tell everybody on how screwed we are. And somebody else will have to come up with the answer to fix it all. I need everybody else. I don't have the answer myself, right? So I, propagated that. When I go to a live stream, I was like what you actually see now is a doom bot. The bot channels that come in and will just throw that negative narrative. They're going to put us in FEMA camps. Everything's being poisoned. And that's just to keep that negative fear, disempowerment narrative running. So in 2014, after looking at this long enough, my sky actually changed. I would go out and I would feel victimized. I would take it to my friends, family, workplace, everyone around me, try to drop all this, narrative, this whole big narrative that we all push, around on us. So it just dismantled my life. Nobody wants to be around the guy that's going to tell everybody how we're all poisoned every day and, make them live my hell bubble out. So once I got rid of all the distractions and all of that, I come to realize, hey, there's more going on here, because I started to find some channels that would come to my channel and leave a comment to try to tell me about the magnetosphere, about how the energies from the sun and from the cosmos can affect things, and we have cycles and how it affects our body. And at first, when they come to my channel, I was like, I would be, triggered, and I would, kind of attack them or just call them a shill or a this, that, or whatever. And so eventually I just started looking into it more, and the sky popped for me once. I just gave up on it. I was so fed up with going outside. I would look and see any kind of weird cloud and just immediately, that's chemtrail, that's frequency. I didn't see the plane, so it's nano. Now they're using invisible drones, and my mind was bent on all that. But finally, as I looked at the sky long enough, I got a cloud ship, one of these sylphs, one of these intelligent, this imagery that, anyway, it helped open my consciousness to more going on, instead of it being all them doing this to us. That what is my responsibility? What is it that I, have a part of all this? And I thought, well, my mission was going to be to just tell everybody how screwed we were, and think that was going to fix something, but it surely doesn't. And the sky popped on me, and it was a cloud ship, and it looked just otherworldly, and the timing of it and how long it sat there above me got my attention. I started disfocusing on the chemtrails, and I started looking up channels that talked about cloud ships and sylph and other things like that. There's some real pioneers in our community, like Indian in the Machine. He's been doing this for 13 years, talking about sylphs, interdimensional entities, cloud ships, the Galactic Council, the energy, and all of those kind of elemental entity things. And that's when my mind started really popping on, hey, there is more going on here. And then once it was revealed to me, the more I opened up to pass the am I still running? Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Is there any possible way you can speak closer to your microphone? A little bit. They're having a little bit of a hard time hearing you.
Any better, guys?
Oh, yes. How about for you, GPK?
Yeah, sounds really good.
Yeah, I relocated my position outside, and the wind kind of got me, and I had a pair of headphones, and I just didn't have to put them on yet. All right, I don't talk much on camera, and so if I start ranting and you guys need me to break for a minute, I try to express all of my thing out. So anyway,
I don't hardly talk on my videos either. It's mostly music videos.
Yeah. Now see, it's not that I don't have conversations or deep thoughts, but it's a lot different when somebody's in person with you and you can actually have that. It's a different kind of thing, I guess, for me. But then when I film my videos, I just don't have words. I'm in a meditative state. I've let all my concerns and cares about 3D things go, and I'm just creating what you see in the sky. But
Yeah, it's about experiencing that
Into the
that moment.
victimization of chemtrails, and so I was all into the victimization of chemtrails, and 500 people on my channel that just believed in that there was nothing else going on up there. Then when I had the turn, I tried to.
You keep coming in and out.
Oh no, it's Project. Oh yeah, okay.
It's okay. That's it's just probably
It's probably my energy level too.
the link.
It
Are
can
you
be my
nervous?
energy level also.
Yeah. We
Well,
know that we can affect
yeah.
our electronics with our
Oh,
we're
yeah.
excited and our heart. We know how that goes.
Yep. Yeah,
So
I can drop those signals.
how long have you been studying? So, you thought that, it was possibly an operation, but now you're at the stage of it's not exactly what you thought it was. And so how long have you been doing the Skywatch?
So I started
You cut out
2013.
2013. Okay.
Okay. I was in 2013 is when I kind of changed, it just started to change for me. So
Nice.
up until then I was bought into all of the fear. My part of the whole fixing the thing was to be going around and popping people's bubbles, basically just dropping all of this negative narrative on people, and maybe we'd find someone smarter than me that could fix it all. But I just realized all that was just a distraction to focus away from what I could do internally first, right? And that's what a lot of this narrative is. So Project Bluebeam, do you know why there's all that great information out there for us? Because it's a distractive layer. They would rather have you look up, and when these entities are up here, these spiritual guides and our support team is up there connecting with us, they would rather have people look up and go, oh heck no, that's Project Bluebeam, that's that's fake, when it's actually these guides and these interdimensional entities that are up there, and it gives everybody an out, you know what I mean? So the truth doesn't get recognized. So, and I'll tell you, it takes a long time to process this information, because when the sky popped on me, I mean, on the regular, I would go out and it would perform for me. And it wasn't always so clear if maybe people watch my videos, but it was the timing of when it happened. It would be what I was thinking about, what was going on internally with me, would be reflected in some way into the sky. There would be a synchronicity and a download, or a consciousness bubble rise, where, and you get that consciousness rise, and then you realize how, you're communicating with this energy and it's giving us downloads. And so in 2013, I found people like Indian in the Machine, Backyard Guillotine, Citizen J. There's just a whole bunch of these old Sylph energy and elemental people that filmed all, and they've kind of all gone away because it's not real well received, I came across those, and it was explaining a lot to me. So then my mission was, well, how do I spread this, or how do I share this information with everybody else? Because it was kind of driving me nuts to sit here and have this type of deep connection with the sky, and have everybody else looking at it like it's against them, and it's there's nothing good about it. So it was like, I just sat down. I asked them one day. I came out and I said, I need a little help, guys. The first time when I went outside that morning, I looked up and the clouds looked very, menacing and alien and entity in a bad way. And I looked out there and I'm like, holy crap, I couldn't just run to YouTube and start telling people, hey, they're acting up again. Hey, it's the chemtrails. It's getting to you. Skip every other breath. I'm like, holy shit, no one's going to believe me, right? So I go back out and I said, okay, guys, I need a little bit of help. And I was like breathing heavy at that point because I was smoking cigarettes and other things. But they came rolling in. It's on my video. It's called "This Is Who I'm Working With," way back on my channel. And these sylphs came and rolled out in such a meaningful, interactive way that I was floored. I started crying. It's the one time I talked on camera for years, and I was in tears and so grateful that they absolutely came out and
and worked with me. Then I knew, hey, I'm part of this. What's going on up there? And I decided from then on, I'm gonna help other people pass that victory, because I had almost 4 years of me dismantling my life because people, like, let's leave them nameless, all the people that propagate all of this, all of this narrative to us that gets us, separated and estranged from our families because nobody wants to hear it. We feel isolated because we think that sharing this negative information with everybody's going to change it. That, oh, we need everybody else to wake up to save us. When the truth is that we are the ones that save ourselves. I mean, we have the power to change our consciousness and the reality around us, right? Over.
Exactly. And now you guys see why, and why I brought these two phenomenal sky watchers on, and neither of them have seen the captures yet, so they will be authentic responses. These I took these pictures on May 31st, just the other day, after doing the video on the unconditional love, and how, with operating in unconditional love, everything is pure, and when you're pure, you see everybody as pure. So there's nothing that separates you when we realize that we're all brothers and sisters, and the say so that we have, we're not a victim of what's going on around us. Those are more like affirmations of what's going on inside of us being expressed outside of us. So I'm going to do a screen share, and we're going to, because I have 22 pictures.
Just to build on Mike's words there about how, the sky pops and all of a sudden you're just experiencing, this super moment of observation. That moment is almost magical for any sky watcher that really, has been doing this for a long time. Will know that it's almost like time stands still, and the sky is no longer the background, but it's the foreground.
Okay, I pulled up the first image, and I can zoom in closer to them and pop in and out. But this is the first capture that I took, and we'll just go down the line. We'll start with GPK, and then we'll go to Mike, and then we'll move on.
Okay. On this image here, you could see it's faint in some parts and then concentrated on the others, and that I feel like on the concentrated parts, it's nothing but pure energy there, gathering together, taking the form, as you can see it there.
What I just zoomed in on almost looks like an angelic with the wings and the head, and I was actually trying to show that the moon was out while the sun was out. And as we get into more of these, you're going to see geometric patterns in the sky, that it's just they're a floating city, galactic beings, Jesus, angels, hearts, so okay, Mike, what do you see here? What's your...
Well, I see the same. Now here's what I see in any of the clouds is that the imagery that's presented up there is, I mean, it doesn't have to like have a story and a name of, oh, that's this person or that's this exact thing. The imagery is very activational. It's the timing of what you're thinking of, how it's how the energy is transferring with you. It's not for me, it's not it has to look exactly or whatever. There's a lot of factors that go into it. So when this starts happening, there's an energy transfer is what I feel out of it. And I think it's the field. It's the etheric field that's always saying yes. And if we choose to co-create up there, because when I'm filming and this is happening, like Juan says, you're having a contact or a visitation or an energy transfer. It's just not coincidence that this stuff is, at the rate that it's happening, at the intensity of the clarity of what we're seeing. So the clearer I am and whatever's going on with me, if I get up and I have a weird day because I lost my keys or something, I might go up and the clouds will look insectoid to me for a minute. I'll get these different kind of, family cloud group that day. And if I go out and I'm in this super high vibe, nothing's bothering me, I'm floating, my head's fully in the clouds and 1 foot barely on the ground, it's angelic, and it's the faces will come out, and it's not always like it's the same being or anything. It'll just make animal faces, it'll make geometric patterns, and all of that I think has to do with the Akashic record and how it affects our DNA. When we see that imagery, it has an activational effect to it. And when we put these videos out, when somebody has a super powerful cloud interaction, I feel it on the video when I'm watching it, and I'll bust out into tears. My heart chakra will full blown open, and that's how powerful the entities are that are up there. I think they're maybe they're there just to inspire us and to show us who we are. That when we're putting this much attention and our focus in a good heart place to the sky, we create these things almost at will. There's such a real-time interaction. Well, if we could believe ourselves enough that we can do that, well, what if we just believe ourselves more, what we can do in changing the 3D environment around us, if we put away these limited beliefs that we've been given and that we adopt ourselves.
Yeah,
I had to start waking over.
The interesting thing is, and it took me a while to finally see this, but when you watch a certain Skywatcher, before you watch, you already kind of know what you're gonna see if you've been watching them for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on to the next one.
Within the first,
Look at that.
if I didn't see who I was watching before, I could tell you who it was usually in the first 30 seconds, whose video it is, just by the feeling.
Now remember, these were all taken in succession. They weren't. I've got, like I said, a little video. Now there's so much going on in each of these images. It's crazy. Okay, we'll start with GPK. What's your thoughts on this one?
You can see that how the energy is just feathering out and collecting in certain areas, and like Mike says, it's transferring energy all across the sky. And
do you see all the hearts?
yeah, taking shapes.
Like the little walkway of hearts, it gets more defined, as we're gonna progress along.
There's some situations where you'll see extreme shadows up in there. And it's very telling of some kind of object or entity hiding around up there or something.
Do you see the cloaked man, like wearing a cloak around him, and then there's a heart off to the side of him?
Yes,
but the heart
I see the heart.
Yeah, if you look right to the, let's see, would be the left, you can see like a white cloak around him, and then the making of, we always see faces in the sky. When I was a kid, when we would go on drives with mom and dad, we would look at the sky and say, oh, I see a bunny, or oh, I see this, or no, this is like way off the charts from anything that I seen as a child. This is so unique, what is going on right now. You have anything else that you want to add, GPK?
No, I'll give Mike a chance to talk, but those are fantastic sky captures.
Okay, Mike. You there?
that activational imagery, they have a different anything else around.
You're cutting out, huh?
To get our attention. And I started thinking about it when I first started watching. I didn't get this type of clear stuff where I wasn't looking at it and filming it at those. I just didn't have that connection yet. So I started thinking, wait a minute, is this a benevolent interaction? Well, let's look at this for a while. But my job,
Oh boy.
400 other people I try to share all this with. Am I coming in?
You're so garbled.
Okay. Okay, sorry.
We really want to hear what you have to
So, yeah. So I started to question when these things got more vivid and more regular, am I having a beneficial or a malevolent or a benevolent interaction with these things? All of the chemtrail people disowned me because I stood right up to them and said, hey, you guys are totally not looking at my piece of the puzzle here. I guess I got to move on. And then I felt very alone. I have nobody else to share it with. And I thought, well, wait a minute. Well, that's kind of what this whole process since 2009 has done. None of my friends that I work with talk to me. None of my friends, none of my family want to talk about any of this. I go around, I'm in such a funk about it. People in line at the grocery store, I drop black truth bombs on them, drop information about all the stuff that you just know they're not ready for. It's just like, I was upset about it all. And then I said, well, there is some things that it's done, but I started to look again. Well, what did that lead me to? It led me to quit looking outside of myself for the problem and fix what I could fix in me. I needed to get rid of all those things, the job with working 16 hours a day around all those stars and all that travel and stuff. It had me completely distracted and living unconscious for a long time and creating unconsciously. Just we have the ability to whatever we focus on and believe, it'll happen. So if we get up in the morning, we say, oh my God, I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to make this connection, this and that. And you just go with it and don't have any doubt or worry about it all day. You just take the next step. You can make everything happen. And if you're doing that unconsciously and you're doing it for wrong reasons, for drugs or for, bad thought forms and that just other kind of vices that we have, we're creating things that we don't really realize we are. So what the clouds did for me was let me focus on, hey, look how powerful your thoughts are. That those images are up there are activating me. They're changing my DNA. And I moved out to my backyard for probably 9 months or so because I couldn't get comfortable in the house. Every time I'd go in, I didn't want to be in this room. I didn't want to be in that room. I'd go outside. I'd look at the sky. I want to go back inside. No, I got to be outside. I just realized, I had to go outside and take this energy in. In November of 2017 or 2017, I'm outside and I wake up in the morning and I look. I'm sleeping on my back porch on a bed and I got a canopy over it, but open walls. I looked out. And when I woke up, my vision was like off-channel TV screen, the old fuzz, I blinked my eyes, I put my head back down. It's not in my closed vision. I open my eyes again, and you can barely see the surrounding, the backdrop, but all that fuzz. I laid back down. I thought, are you kidding me? What's going on? I popped up again, looked, it was still there. I go, I got to go back to sleep. Went back to sleep, woke back up, and I was fine. I did this for like three days in a row. Then all of a sudden, if you watch these videos of mine where it's completely platinum plasma rainbow tie-dye clouds and they're so vivid. So I'm outside in my backyard in November and I'm talking to everybody in the, do the Skywatch videos and stuff. And all of a sudden I go outside and that sky turns vivid like that. And I'm trying to film it. And you know how certain times of the day you can't get a close look at the sun because it's so intense. Well, I was looking at the sky, but it wasn't at the sun. It was at these rainbow clouds. And all this heart chakra opening and everything, the Kundalini activation or whatever happened to me, that those vivid, if you look back at those rainbow videos of how vivid they are, it touched me inside my eyes. I'm trying to film it. As I'm looking up to the sky, all I'm seeing is rainbow waves of frequency and energy coming at me. And I had put the camera down. I go, oh, I got to go sit down now because the rainbow light was so bright that I couldn't take it, even not looking at it. So I went and sat down, and my body started vibrating at all these different densities and layers. And I had the biggest heart chakra open in the healing session that I've ever had. And
Do you guys
it was
see
so
the heart
joyous.
in the center? Do you see the heart? And then it looks like sprays of light or photonic light just like spraying outside of that heart, like just in every direction.
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah, so this is where I had a problem integrating the information. Is that because of the magnetosphere? Because we know the magnetosphere, those bands can dislodge, they can get compressed, can stretch. And we see these upper layer clouds like that take on this, structure and these faces. My thinking, and I worked out with maybe like Colt, was, okay, what if these entities are showing up now because the higher amounts of photonic light are making them visible? And actually what their job up there is to kind of moderate how much of this photonic light potential that we get. Because we know we have huge amounts of those particles that you watch my particle videos. We have the UVC that's so high and these energies. So I think when we're having these events where our magnetosphere is thin or we're having a dislodged or migration of it, that these entities kind of manifest in that area, absorb that radiation, and dole it out to us at a rate we can handle. And if you ever notice, when these trails, and this cloud particular like this, when it shows up, a plane will come in and almost stripe it, edge to edge, the length of it.
We
Not
got
before,
some
not
people
after.
in chat, and I see it's I think it's Darlene Maggie. She says, what I see is an angel with the wings spread apart, and that's shadow. And then Darla Lama said, heart with wings. So I do want the chat to participate. What, because in observation and perspectives that the chat may see and resonate with, some things that we're not, focusing on as we're sharing these amazing images, because there's so many layers of information in each of these pictures. So I'm going to move on to the next one, since there, like I said, there's 22 of these pictures and a short video to show you that both luminaries were in the sky, both the sun and the moon, and that these were all taken at the same time with so much going on. So here is the next one. And we'll start with GPK. Let me zoom in on it. And I always see hearts, just hearts, hearts, hearts everywhere.
Yeah, and see that little line beneath the clouds right there, not at the very bottom, but kind of like center where you got it. It looks like the energies are like braiding into each other. It looks like a braid in the going horizontal from left to right.
Oh yeah,
You see
yeah.
how it's kind of twisting in a
Mm-hmm.
way, and I see that often, and that
interesting.
looks super high energy, shooting across
Yeah,
even
what?
the clouds there.
GPK, that totally resonates, because I did a live stream about, the twisting that we have within ourselves, the twisting of who and what we are.
Yeah.
And and it's for that to reflect out there. Wow.
And honestly, it almost looks like, because even right above it to the left side, there's some streaks on that cloud above it. It looks like it's pulling from that one. That's just my observations. I've seen this kind of action before.
Wow. Let me scroll around a little bit because see, this is on the top looks like a big heart to me, but it also seems to have like an animal. It looks like an animal, or I mean, there's so much going on, and again, spraying out of photonic light or light language or the energy. And then if you look up into the corner, it looks like there is a silhouette of a being, and then like a tail behind it,
Yeah,
and
I see
then
it.
to a heart.
I see almost like a sideways face up in the top right corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Mike, what's your thoughts on this one?
I think he dropped out.
He did. I better go back and I got to go back over here because I'm sure he came back. There he is. Sorry, Mike. I was all on the screen with the
no worries. I was in a bad location. I had the sun in my eyes, so I was trying to see your picture, and on this little phone, I really didn't get a whole lot of definition on the last couple.
We're still on it.
Here exactly what I'm seeing is the same, is that the energies, when they start to coalesce like this, put this imagery in there, and it's actually, I believe, us that's creating it. It's how much creative belief and energy that and focus that you're putting on the sky at that exact moment. Because the stuff that I get the best, I don't really try to sit there and think it up to make it happen. I'm just open for the experience, and that I put that attention up there, and it's all in out of the heart space. It's to share with all of the people out here that we do this with, to take the fear away. Because, man, I remember being locked in that for 3 years, and just going around to other people's live streams and saying, they're killing us with Morgellons, there's nanobots, there's webs, and you think anybody followed me back to my channel and said, oh, you're doing a great job at telling us how screwed we are,
Yeah.
No, and then we have these people,
fear.
but then now look, we have these people that make a living out of it, make a religion out of it, telling us how screwed. I hate to say it, when we look back at how long this has been going with Jordan Maxwell and all the other guys that have brought this stuff out for so long, why are they so brilliant at telling us every motive and every molecule and every effort that they make? But the best idea we can all have is to go share that hell bubble with somebody else and get them to sign up for it.
Do you see the like bazillion hearts up there? And I guess I should probably say what drew me outside at this particular moment. We were hearing a helicopter like going over our house, to the point where it annoyed my husband and I. So I went out in the backyard and I was looking for it. And then finally it appeared. And then like, it was weird because right as, I was looking at them, it looked like they were looking at me, because then they turned towards me. And then when they almost got to my backyard, then they turned sideways. And so then I called my husband outside, hey, come check this out. What kind of helicopter is this? And then we were standing by our fence, our gate in our backyard. And then they did a little little siren thing and like waved at us, and we waved back at them. And then we went out front, and that's when I saw the moon and the sun, and then all this going on. And so I ran in, I grabbed my phone and just started snapping away at the sky. So there's the background on how I got these images. There wasn't any forethought or anything into it. It was just looking. I just looked at it and was like, "What? Wow!"
Yep. See, you're living in the moment right now, and so I usually don't try to give it when we say, "Oh, there's that face," and it's that face again. I see him in your video and my video and everything else. So it seems to be like there is an intelligence to what's going on up there. And I think the benevolence I see in it is, look what it's doing for us. I've made this community what I've lived and breathed for the last 6 years. I think I couldn't have made it without all of you. You know what I mean? To live with this thing that's so beautiful, and it's changing my life so much. I've got off drugs. I've stopped bad relationships, other things, all through this process. I needed to wake up way back then. And I needed to go through all that victimization of the narrative. So I had the empathy to see other people going through it and share with them. I really don't have a lot of explanation for what I see. I don't talk during my videos, and when I watch them, I don't have a whole lot to say about what it is. It's the field, it's consciousness, it's our connection to it. If we realize that it's just a medium up there that we interact with and we can co-create with, it's just one medium. There's water elementals, there's tree elementals, there's energies, let's call them, and then there's not. You notice there's not a lot of big channels that touch this aspect of our piece of this puzzle. Everybody has a role of acting like it's victimization and narrative to.
No, we did discuss that. My husband and I were like, is this blue beam? And then, but there's, as we go on, there's too much going on for it to be that. If they're going to use some kind of technology like that, it's going to be one huge image that everybody can see. You know what I mean? It's not going to be layers and layers like this.
And even that, they couldn't afford to do it to just you. I mean, think about it, all the thousands of people around you. No one else was out there going, go with their camera. So they're just using Project Bluebeam to target you? Come on. No way. Because if they had it like that, they don't even need to target you. They can just control your mind, or, if they all have this 5G and all these nano things, why don't they just shut the people up, to make them, drop over, vaporize, self-suicide? It's not happening. We're all just creating this as it goes. It's an experience. I had to realize people have different catalysts. My catalyst was, I started waking up to the narrative, right? It didn't just start with chemtrails. It was the banking fraud and the straw man and the whole thing. It's a big thing. I mean, to just delve into all that was...
This next one I just put up is just to show that, I showed you that the moon was out. Now, this is showing you that the sun is out. But again, so much activity going on with, just layers and layers. And then that line going like right into the sun. And then, as you go down, it's just like stacked. It's like stacks and stacks of information, like light language, photonic energy that's being put into us. It's like an affirmation. So we'll start with you again, GPK. What's your thoughts on this one? This one we won't spend a lot of time on because of the sun glare and all that, but because we do have 22 and we're only on 4.
No, that just shows how brilliant the sun is these days, and when you zoom out, to full picture, you actually see a sun halo there. It's very, very slight, but there is a halo there, and
I see it. Yeah. And but also, you guys in the chat, please type in what you're seeing. As we're going through these images, because it's like one of a piece of art that is put out that each person may see something different, or it'll impact them in a different way. And I would love to see what you guys are seeing or hear, or see. I guess it would be see because you're typing it. What you guys are also, seeing, because we're in this together is a big oneness. Okay, I'm sorry, GPK. Were you wanting to continue?
No, I'm just saying. I was thinking. It reminds me of those images of the water droplets that have the intentions in there and how they take form.
When you put love into it, they behave one way, and you put
I think you see that kind of stuff also in the sky.
Absolutely. Okay, Mike, what's your thoughts on this image?
Okay, when I see the changes in the frequency of the sun and the phenomena that we see, people call things the firmament or the magnetosphere, the ionosphere. Those are our protective layers of the Earth. And right now, because we're in the type of cyclical pattern we're in, it's compromised. It's going to mean this huge amount of cosmic energy is entering into areas of our atmosphere with exotic particles. I believe these entities and these elementals are probably always in our sky, but at this particular time in our cycle, with this photonic light comes in that activates them and lights them up, that they're up there kind of regulating what happens. When we see the sun, it looks so bright and it's got this halo. That means there's less magnetosphere over us. Take a lens, instead of having it perfectly round, say you flatten it out a little bit. That means the magnetosphere doesn't extend so far out into space as it, 60,000 kilometers or whatever it usually is. It's down at 45 that day. The lensing effect is going to be completely different. You're going to get different focal points of higher energy on those days, and you can feel it in your body. You can see it in the trees. You can feel it burning the things around us. Okay, if they're doing something with chemtrails and there's higher entities up there working, and nobody's absolutely being just fried out by this energy. We're not having thousands of people just burn out from it. Okay, so the entities, the consciousness is working with whatever the airplanes are, and because they work on a collective basis. You see them when these things pull up. You'll get that one strip that's right in there in the action. And that's what I would say, is that entity is using whatever's in that chemtrail, or the chemtrail is just appearing there because that's where the higher amounts of radiation is, that the entity is showing up in his body, showing up because he's absorbing a lot of that, so it doesn't come down and cause us problems. When these layers of this atmosphere happen like that, you can see it. If you look at that upper etheric stuff and the direction that it's moving, it'll be consistent all day long, and that upper stuff is where the freakiness will happen. You'll have the lower clouds, like some of these ones that just stand out, that's got more natural particles and moisture and energy in it. When you get them supercharged, and when I go out, again, just like that water thing with Mystery Moto, I'm sure that's what we're doing. When we go out, we have all this intention that we're putting to the sky. And if we're going out, we want to see something beautiful, I can turn the sky will turn into rainbows over me. Or if I want to get creative, the dragons, what's like 40 dragons on there. I actually went to the park the other day and laid down on my back, and in my imagination, put my hands up in the air above me as I was meditating and pulled a cloud dragon out of the sky. I mean,
do you guys see the little baby dinosaur? Maybe he's a dragon, and then right around him, it looks like an angelic with a wingspan, right above that line that's going through the sun. If you just look up a little bit, it just looks like a little baby dinosaur, or maybe a baby dragon with a wing expansion, or another being right behind it. It's just amazing. Okay, let's move on to the next one. And this one shouldn't be very long, because it was just, I tried to zoom in on the moon, and we'll start with GPK.
Yeah, that's a pretty good shot of the moon, and it has been out with the sun, chasing the sun, towards the horizon every day now. Friday,
I like that, chasing the sun.
Yeah, Friday is the full moon, so that might explain all these high energies that are trying to be around the moon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you can still see, like, even though this is just a shot of the moon, you can see that there is different colors that pop out, like like a dark, like a purpley color and a blue color, and then another shade of a lighter blue, and still images. I see, a being. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, but right here, there's the eyes, nose, mouth, head. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay, Mike, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so you see how there's where the moon is. So if you look down, maybe like at the 8 o'clock position, there's almost a dark shadow U shape.
I'm sorry, my husband's out here, so if you let me go back over here and I'll mute.
Down in the down from 7 o'clock position under the moon, there's a dark shadow kind of U shape. Just a dark, yeah. So I believe when the energy up there is either magnetically or electrically charged, it has a different polarity. And when these intramedium places where these transitional clouds kind of affect, it shows up the entities. So I had to work on it for a long time because I would drive me nuts if I looked up every day and every cloud had faces in it. I realized, oh, I'm feeding my pareidolia at that point. You know what I mean? I could just tell after a while I was, because they weren't as clear. And then I thought back when I looked at it, my energy connection wasn't strong that day. I was just kind of pushing it, looking for something because I wanted to connect online or something. When I back up and I took just the back seat of watching it happen in front of me, I didn't need any explanation for it, why they were there. It felt like it was a story, like it was a full process of it activating me, downloading, having that feeling, the energy transfer, and using it positively in my life. And that's made a big difference to me.
Janice Ames says she sees a large cherubim standing to the left of the moon. Awesome. Okay, let's move on to the next. Let's see if I can get my where'd my little arrow thing go? Okay, hold that thought. Just one moment. This is number 5. And hold on, I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, this is image 6. And again, it's of the moon. Because I was trying to zoom in on it and I didn't know if I was getting clear shots. And so I would take, I was taking these, like I said, in succession.
Yeah, it looks like you can see the energy. Since it was the next picture, it's already moved a little bit across the sky.
Yeah, each image has its own defined light language. And even though I took them like within a second of each other, that's how quick, things can change. And again, I see hearts, and then I see the like light language, and then the different shades. And then, do you see that like line that's going across at an angle?
Yeah.
I mean, and then you see another like faded type light or line that crosses over it, but not as defined as the one that's just to the north of the moon.
Yeah, it's very visible,
Look and see, you see this. It's
Yeah.
like it's dropping down. They're all beautiful and unique.
It almost looks like somebody waving back at you.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's interesting perspective. My sky knew I was looking at it, so it was, waving back. And again, here's my heart. It's faint, but it's there. I always see hearts. And were you done, GPK?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Mike, what's your thoughts? Did he fall out again?
Oh, Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Okay. Okay, he's not back yet, so okay, we'll just move forward. He'll be back, I'm sure. And see again in succession.
Yeah, and see now it's even more. How would you say it? It looks more dense in the picture than from before.
Yeah, and look at the difference in the clouds. Even I
Yeah.
mean, it's changed. Keep checking to see if he's back. He's not yet. It's okay, because we're only on image 7. So, do you have anything else you want to add? And also, please in the chat, whatever you're seeing, please type it in so we can see or read what you're seeing in these.
Yeah. No, these pictures absolutely show how fast the sky changes when you're watching. It's mere seconds, and everything's in a different place.
Beautiful, oh my gosh! I mean, it was breathtaking. I have to say I couldn't believe what we were actually witnessing, with it. So, like I said, that's why I ran in and grabbed my phone and just started snapping away.
Yeah. When you were doing this, I mean, did it feel like it was over real quickly, or did you feel like it was something that lasted longer than it was?
Well, after putting out the message of unconditional love, I stayed I'm still in a space of unconditional love, that we're all brothers and sisters. We all hold a piece of this, and that we're all in this together. No one higher than the other, all equally co-creating what is going on around us. So we're not victims of the outside world. We're projecting what's inside of us outside, around us, for us to be able to, actually get affirmations or know where we need to work on, what we need to work on, or, but when you see everything is pure, then all things are pure. And then this just kind of happened. Well, as you know, I mean, I capture things and then I send them over because, sky watching, and although I love sky watchers, absolutely love them, but that's not, my forte. I'm kind of, uh, into the spiritual, uh, like, evolution and the awakening that we're all going through simultaneously. It's pretty amazing. So I like to, that's why you and Mike are here, because you guys are well respected in my eyes as sky watchers, and you know what you're looking at, and have that understanding to share what's going on. He's not back yet, so
Yeah, he was on a mobile device. He might have lost power or something.
he'll be back. I know he'll be back because he's got lots to share. Let's see if I can. Is it going to allow me? Yes. Yay. Okay. And again.
Yeah, and see,
It's,
and from the previous picture, it's back to being a little more dense, or what do you call it? Not as heavy all around, and
right.
so it almost seems like it's like waves.
And you know how we're seeing the line going through the sun?
Yeah.
Now looking at this, you see the line going through like the moon,
Yeah.
which brings out what you were talking about, the moon chasing the sun.
Yeah.
You see all the hearts at the bottom?
It's been on its tail for the whole week, or since through the weekend that I've seen.
so many hearts, 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 hearts. I mean, you can see them in the blue.
Yeah.
There's a heart in the blue,
Uh,
and then
uh,
in the clouds.
Yeah, often when I see those types of formations, I see a lot of times I see a real defined eye or an eyeball with a eyelid even sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, and Mike is back with us. And, okay, do you see the image? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I yeah, I do. And right in the middle and looking sort of off to the left, there's a distinct kind of facial structure. I'm going to go over to the channel and, on another device off this phone. So give me a second.
Okay. Do you want us to stay on this image while you're doing that, or move on to the next one?
If you could move on for a minute.
Okay, because we're almost to image 10, and that one, oh my gosh. And my little arrow thing, of course, disappeared. Hold on. So I gotta read it up again. At least it's quick. Well, we were on 8. Okay. 9. Oh yeah, now we're getting into some very interesting things. Not that the others weren't interesting. I mean, it's just the more that I was out there, the more that was like showing up. And I was talking to you earlier about the stepping stones of hearts, and this one is just wow. What's your thoughts on it, GPK?
Yeah, see, that's pretty strange looking, from the full screen, and then when you zoom in, you see all these little pieces to it that make up that whole formation. It's almost like they're steps leading up to the center.
Yeah, and then the streaks, uh, either rising up or coming down, and it looks like at the bottom left corner is like angelic wings, but it's it also could be light language or photonic light information packets, or coming down onto us. And although one person is observing and taking these pictures, these will affect everybody that is, we're just lucky to be able to see it, to actually capture it and see it. But this stuff comes down, and it is affecting everybody. Mike?
Yeah, I see a huge subliminal type face, kind of like he has sideburns, or his cheeks have a beard. His eyes are kind of looking off to the left slightly, mouth, nose, very subliminal and subtle, but a big energy frequency pattern to it. I kind of wonder if we're not looking at the Akashic record. That our thoughts and our emotions and our intentions and our desires and are like stored in that energetic water, or that energetic etheric realm. So when I see all this, it's so big that you know what I mean, that how could this stuff be doing this so regular? Okay, it's getting our attention, but what is it saying? Does anybody feel there's a negative aspect to what we're seeing? Or, I mean, there's several narratives out there. This is the fallen angels. This is the root of all evil, or this is what's causing all the weather bad stuff, and I see it being this organic content that's helping us wake up right now and teach us how much more we are, and that.
Or
I
it
don't.
could be,
I
you know,
do
even
see
with
it.
what's in the Bible about, I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. So, you know, a lot of times people, like the information or affirmation, you know, when you look in different books or different sources, it should be for an affirmation of what you're going through. Don't look at the book as that is like, don't use an outside source to say what's going on within you. Go within you and then find affirmations in things that are going on outside and around you. Like, we look at everything so backwards, and that's what I think about when I see all this going on. That it's you know, it could be right there with pouring out the spirit on all flesh, because everybody feels it. Everybody is experiencing something phenomenal and paranormal, and you're right, a lot of people don't want to talk about this kind of stuff because of
Well, here's
they get
the
scared
thing
of
for
nuts.
me is it took me a long time to integrate it. There's all this narrative pumped out there about how it's and fear, and you need to get a bunch of people to try to save us or me, or that kind of is a limit on our consciousness at that point. The more I looked at this stuff, the more I interacted and made a determination that I was going to do something positive with it, make this channel and help other people over the victimization of it or along their process of, because there's different catalysts, and I had to learn not to get triggered off other people's catalyst. You know, that the catalyst of flat Earth and Sun Simulator, and am I still in there?
Yeah, your sound was a little bit garbly and cutting up, but it's all good now.
Yeah.
You're good now. Okay.
Yeah. So they that I felt victimized by it at first. I felt cloud stop. You know, I'm like, who does this happen to? And daily, I'm getting out these immaculate cloud imagery and activation and energy transfers, and I was putting it just on my channel with some music. And if people said something in the comment section and wanted to go further, I wanted to do it, but I didn't want to get on there and spout all my process of integrating all that information, because it would sound crazy. I had to jumble it around in my head with a couple of close friends that aren't close anymore because of it, you know, to work through, hey, what's going on? Why am I so special? Or who am I now that I got this kind of connection to the clouds? And I thought, wait a minute, I'm not special, because look, there's these old timers like Indian the Machine, Jack's Dreaming, several other ones, Citizen J. When you go to these channels, they have a particular energy frequency cloud in their videos, period. You don't see a lot of this interdimensional or alien or type of weird stuff. It's just that angelic paintbrush, you know, and that's just his frequency. Mine is all over the place. You can see
this is the photo that took my breath away. The one that I just pulled up is you can see there's a heart in the center of it, but then when obviously you can see the streaks of the photonic light coming out. But let me zoom into something here. Right here and right next to here looks like a male and a female, maybe of a galactic type of, you know, what some would call the Galactic Federation or Space Brothers, or, you know, maybe interdimensionals or angels, but it was so easy to see how their eyes really showed up, and, you know, her with the defined nose and mouth and her hair wispy, and the stepping stones again with the hearts. And so GPK, what's your thoughts on this?
No, I think you're exactly right. That's pretty much what I see as well. And And as you can tell, like uh, all the energy it's combining together. You know, these you'll see these voids, and then they'll just close up and just be filled with energies.
And look at the bottom. Look at the bottom of the picture, which I've just scrolled to. That all that light
Yeah,
that is just like, and you can see it looks like, streaks of of information that is going into, and maybe the angelics or galactic brothers and sisters or whatever, that it is that you perceive, and then also showing the immense amount of information that is coming into us to raise the awareness and walk in that purity, because we are all pure. It's just a twisting in our mind that separates us. So that blast of light at the bottom, wow.
Yeah. So when I look up, I don't really try to judge what it looks like. Oh, it looks demonic in this. It looks something else in this. What's the overall impression, do you guys think? Is there going to be a big reveal where they just snap off and manifest so greatly that the masses can't deny it, and they're going to freak, and we're going to go bat crazy on each other? I mean, look how gentle and gradual our disclosure has been. I mean,
Exactly.
we're going through this whole process.
I feel it's building up and intensifying every day.
Mm-hmm. I think that this
will be. I feel there will be a grand show that no one will be able to deny that something has happened.
Yeah, I think as the more of this this energy, this photonic cosmic energy enters, it makes them even more visible to us, and they're probably more active up there. I see everything as benevolent. I find no need to put an invisible monster up there after us. These things have not attacked me. I see the community growing so rapidly around us. I see people working through the victimization of chemtrails and then ending up here at, hey, this is way bigger than that. And I think the sky is a perfect way to read the energies and what's going to happen that day or that week or what's happening at the moment. If we can live more in the moment with what these energies bring and integrate them into our life, no resistance and no judgment. How do we go around? Okay, if there's going to be this big reveal, I feel almost a sense of urgency to at least the people around me that I come in contact with, to try to give them say, hey, take a look at this cloud for a minute. Look at your clouds more often. Do it all the time, because I wonder too, as we go through this COVID thing, think about all of these distractions that have been removed from the collective. There's no more strip bars. There's no more bars. There's no more all the foolish stuff that was keeping people unconscious and never gonna look up or get a higher notion. Maybe that's what we're waiting for. This is something that I feel we manifested.
Yeah,
I have a lot of conversations with a friend.
Some time for us, some quiet, to get off that hamster wheel and just have that time to, introspect what's going on. I say praying is talking, and meditating is listening. So, it becomes the connection becomes more clear. And then you could get to a point where you realize you were never disconnected. That was a twisted thing in your mind. It says, God is unconditional love, all light, okay, with no shadow of turning. I don't know why we felt a disconnect, or that we weren't worthy to be the children of the Most High as we are. It's just, and that's another thing. We are loved as we are. And so to allow that to settle into your heart and then align with your mind, it's difficult when so much out there tells you the opposite. And by having this time of, even churches and all those kind of things were closed. So you had time to be with your family, your loved ones, and quiet time to settle your mind and your heart and allow this to flow through you. Even if, as I'm sure we all have had that scary part in the beginning and where everything seemed upside down and inverted. Well, that's because we thought we were affected by the outside world, where actually we affect. And on a collective level, we're making what is going on around us. So I agree with you, Mike, that there is a very good possibility and probability that those that are awake and have that understanding, the desire, because your heart is cracked wide open for everyone to know this about themselves, that we could have manifested this time for people to have their time to get to the moment of clarity. What's your thoughts, okay, on that? On that notion?
Who are you talking to?
You.
Oh, no, I think Mike's right on the money on all that, and you got to be, right with God and right with yourself, and then right with your family.
And we get to the point where we don't see anything outside of God. I don't see anything outside of God. I think everything, that the Creator is so much that I don't see anything outside of God. I don't.
Yep.
And
So, and if we think about it, the parameters of the operating system of this realm is to distract you from the fact that you are God, to make the contrast. So when you do have that memory and those experiences go through and you, oh crap, I get it. Oh, I'm God. Oh, I've been acting like I wasn't God this whole time. That's who we all are. God wants to have that. There's a certain amount of contrast and clarity that we get from duality and polarity. We can be way in the dark. You know how sweet that makes the light? I mean, if you just had light all the time, it gets to be just vanilla. But if you get that contrast going,
you have experience.
Experience. So think about how hard it is to trick God to not believe he's God for a little while so he can enjoy this moment of eternity different than the last moment. And that's what we all are, as an aspect of him.
That's
remembering
why we're
ourselves.
God's children.
And so we don't anymore. I don't take the experiences that I have as personal or attacked or victimized by them. I can sit back in awe now and realize, oh crap, look what I can do with this sky. You know how much that healing that I get out of the trauma that I put myself through, mostly because of my consciousness just wasn't raised enough to know higher. I've got a lot of healing out of this. I had to start way back in 2009. The people that think about this now, as this light and as this light's coming in and charging up the integrity, the ethics, the love in the heart space right now, anything that doesn't have that is without these distractions and without that feed of keeping that alive. People that have that darkness is coming to the surface in great. I mean, it's kicking their ass. I can see it around me, and I hear it on the police scanner radio. All that stuff, that clearing. So the people that have just been living good and doing right and are just starting to wake up to it, they're going through a quick process. That stuff that I had to go through for 6 years or better because I had some addiction problems and some physical, some issues that I had to clear. So they're going through a faster time now. Maybe we, by collectively going through this process, because I can see how our processes mirror with each other and how the sky content is something that we can exactly use organically to connect. Wow, I'm inspired by all this.
But have you come to the understanding that no matter what's going on here, that you're loved unconditionally? That means even at your lowest low, you are loved unconditionally. So the things that we put on ourselves, the burdens that we put on judging ourselves and saying, well, I was doing this or I was doing that, I'm a bad person. You're judging yourself. You're your own judge. Your own conscience will convict you. But it's how you treat your brothers and sisters. And is it with pure love? No matter what you've got going on within you, that it's already forgiven. There's nothing you could do to fall out, because like there's no shadow of turning. He's pure love. I don't know. I don't even want to limit the creator of this, of God Almighty to a gender. I just think about when Jesus said to his disciples, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. So, with that statement alone, that does align with what you just mentioned. But it's not a do what thou wilt type of a thing, because we want to treat each other as the divine sovereigns that each of us are, with the free will that we've been given to have our experiences.
So, and I do feel there's a possibility that as these energies get higher and the vibrations rise and these interactions become more blatant, that there is a sense of urgency to try to help people, not step in and try to prevent their darkness or get in any way of it. When people have issues and stuff, just let it come to the surface right now, because there's not a lot of places for them to run to hide from it now. You know what I mean? You can't be out after 8 o'clock at night. There's no bars. There's no, all those things that were keeping people distracted. It's a big thing that's happening with these energies. So I wonder that, what's the next step with this disclosure? Because the sky is like totally giving us disclosure, and the imagery can be so exacting. Like I'll see the same cloud in other people's videos, Yeah. So I feel that if these things wanted to do something, if they were malevolent, wouldn't they want to use why are they letting us see and run around at the top of our lungs trying to get creative, sharing it with everybody, and they're just performing for us? When we think about when I'm filming these clouds, nobody's wrecking their car, forgetting to stop at red lights around me. I got a high vibe just in my personal area, and nobody else, I'm sure, is out there in their backyard focusing on it at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's, how could it be victimization or Project Bluebeam and the government to just project that stuff over me randomly or all the time? Where's the victimization in it? I don't see it anymore.
Okay, we've moved on to the next image, and this one to me looked like water, waves, like the ocean, and again with the light, photonic light, and so much going on. There's just so much going on, and all I was doing, like I said, these were all taken in succession, just like one right after another, as I just like did like a circle and just shot the sky. And GPK, what's your thoughts? What do you see?
Yeah, I see that twisting action again right there, almost like a screw. And it just looks like to me that it's pulling everything towards itself and wrapping it in like a spinning fashion.
Yeah, that's why that's like a wave, from the ocean crashing in. But this one seems like, and like you said, a screw. That it does look like a screw, because when you look at the right side of it, It does. It looks like a screw with even like what you need, what kind of screwdriver, which would be a flathead, to screw this screw in because of the definition in it.
Yeah. In fact, it almost looks like it could be two entities hugging each other and just spinning in
Yep,
place there.
I can see that. Yeah. Yep. Awesome. Okay, Mike, what's your thoughts on this image?
These are a very recognizable cloud family called the Sylph. They'll often have the draggy kind of, wash away kind of vapor that trails behind them. And if you just look at the energy frequency signature patterns, dynamic. It's not a cookie cutter cloud. It's not something that part of the sky looks like that, and right over here looks like that. It's dynamic. It stands out all by itself. These have the best energy, and they're called sylph clouds. There's a lot of narrative that talk about what they're responsible for. They're in the raw, more pure air elemental, and it replenishes and has an energetic signature to it. Often when the chemtrails are around, these things work in tandem or with each other or next to each other. You'll see this pull up, and lots of times a trail will just come in and tag it. You know what I mean? Do you guys recognize that a lot?
Oh yes, yeah. They kind of play off each other, with real high energy, and that's where you start seeing these feathering effects and these strands, kind of like on this picture. You see the strands spreading out, and you see, once again, you see that twisting action, almost like a braid.
Yeah. So here's what I think. You know what the magnetosphere looks like in the toroidal field, right? The dynamo of the Earth. The poles have giant bands of twisted electromagnetic energy, an outer band and an inner band. We can see when we get hit with hard waves of energy from space, it contorts it and can stretch it, give us problems. We have a geomagnetic storm. On those days when that's happening, you can feel it. Your head's ringing, your chest will be buzzy. You're up. You're like, oh, something's gonna happen today. I can just tell the energy's on. Yeah. I have days after days where I got nothing but blue skies and 1960 retro clouds. That's boring to me. That's just why I don't want to put that up. I'm looking for the energy stuff. You know what I mean? People go, oh, you have the weirdest thing. You never have blue skies and it's all chemtrails. No. I just film the stuff that that has this type of energy. So these sylph clouds are
a new one. I'm sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go. I'm sorry too.
I pulled up the next image, and it's got, and I'm telling you, these were like only like not even a second apart. So I was just moving and snapping, and then this appeared. We've still got the like screw there, and then I see the giant heart in the middle, but also it looks like it could be the head of a dragon, and with the lights and everything. There's so much going on simultaneously. Like almost every narrative that people talk about or that they're experiencing or sharing on their platforms, like all manifested in the sky all at the same time. That's what was so phenomenal and why I was so excited to share these with you two to get your observations and perspectives and input on each of these photos and what you see and what your what vibration are you feeling from them, and also in the chat, please, put what you're seeing, because when I'm done, I want to go back through and see what you guys were getting from each of these images. And we'll start with again GPK. What's your thoughts on this one?
No, on the dragon forms, you will see those often, and a lot of times they're breathing either fire or wind or even water, and it'll be very visible coming out of its mouth. And this one looks like to be having a water type spray. It almost seems like.
Oh yeah, right here out of the mouth in like a spin. Oh wow! And then we've got this information packet, and then again, and it's like layers, layer. Um, it's just profound. And I wanted to point at this out to you. Do you see this? You see my mouse down here?
Yeah.
You talk about the eye.
Yeah. That's what I see often.
And so, and it looks like right behind the eye is a waterfall. And then a mountain. I mean, there's some with cities, so we'll get to those, and also geometric. And this is, like I said, all within like a 3-minute span to get all of these pictures. Did you have anything else to add, GPK?
No, I'm good.
You're good.
Yeah.
You are always such a you're a quiet, mild.
I don't talk much. Even outside of YouTube, I'm a very quiet person. But
you're
I'm here.
sweet.
But I'm here to talk to y'all, so I like it.
Actually, there's an eye above that eye. I just seen it when I came back over onto StreamYard. There's a couple of the one eye symbolism above where I was saying the waterfall.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, it's like whoa. And then again, sprays of energy or just was flowing out of these things.
Yeah, they look like streams, like what like a real soft stream of energy flowing through, almost like a river of water.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm over the top stunned, but how do we share this with more people? How come none of the bigger channels that want to tell us all about how, everything's bad and shit, why nobody wants to touch this aspect really? The small community of people that do, but I've gone to these larger channels that I've respected for a minute and thought, hey, surely they would say so. They'd come back and said something like, oh, you wouldn't believe the kind of crazy people that contact us. They think they believe in cloud people and stuff. And I was like, ooh, that was my comment. He blatantly said something on camera about. So I think everything out there is kind of a distraction to keep us from knowing the full truth of what's going on out there, because I don't think we can handle it. I'm glad my disclosure has been slow and gradual and healing like it has, because when this stuff, if it all really super popped on me all at one time, wow. Yeah, that psychological impact's pretty hard to deal with. I can see why people have a defense mechanism of wanting to believe this at all. Because I couldn't. It took me a long time I would look and agonize over pictures and try to understand some greater meaning of it. And then I realized the meaning was that, hey, look at the connection that you have with, you can do this at any time and take an active role in what's happening up there.
Okay, I popped over to the next image, and here I see a heart, and then I see hearts just popping out of it like popcorn, and then again with this spiral, and then it looks like energy being dropped down onto us, and then it lands into this cloud, and then of course down onto us. GPK, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I see the heart in the center as well, and all these the little cotton balls. Those always look fantastic. I like those. Almost like it was just dropped on a canvas,
Just and underneath that like white spiral, I mean, do you see the streaks coming out? Like,
yeah.
Is that a craft that and it's just dumping information in light form, or what's your thoughts on that? Because it just looks like, and then as it goes down farther, it gets thicker.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about before. It almost looks like a stream of like energy and stuff just coming straight down, almost like a waterfall.
Yeah, and see, now we're starting to see some of these geometric patterns with these like lines all next to each other.
Yeah. It almost resembles what would be a landscape,
Floating city. Yeah, in the sky. Okay, Mike, what's your thoughts?
That's how cartoonish they can look at times, and why they change appearance, or family groups kind of come in at different times. Some days they're so cartoonish, and they'll, for me, they'll stand out. I demand them to stand out by themselves. I don't want to chase them in a bunch of other clouds and wonder if I'm getting it and not know until I go back and look on video. I want them to stand out for me in the open air and show me what's up. And then I don't even put I need to see a face, this or that. You can just tell by the energy frequency signature pattern what it's carrying, what kind of, what a family group they belong to. Because look at the different types of clouds that are in this. There's a real sylphy one up toward the top left. You can see how it drags off underneath, dropping down. That's a totally different, that's a probably more electromagnetic. These type of like lamb's wool and stuff over here, that's more ionospheric compression. When outer space is being compressed down on our atmosphere, call it the magnetosphere, the ionosphere, the firmament, that's our protective layer that's making that protection. So it's not going to let it come any closer to us. The stuff that's already slipped in past that layer of protection, that those particles show up the entities that are in the sky naturally all the time. I bet they were there all the way as we were growing up and everything, but the particles, the higher amounts of radiant light that make them angelic beings appear, wasn't there for us. And now that the light's there, it's actually changing it's rewiring our visual cortex to see these new colors and new frequencies in the sky, and it's rewiring our DNA as we ascend and evolve. Look at what kids are doing with parkour free running. How do we go and tell those kids, excuse me, you guys need to stop that, you're making chemtrail people look bad? If you tell people and people believe that stuff's killing them, that's the deadliest part. I don't think chemtrails are a thing. I think planes do that now because these new energies, the new electromagnetics and the connection of these particles in the sky make them things appear. But I also think that the angelic or the higher realms are using that for whatever reason, whatever might be in it, because you can see when these massive defined beings show up, defined, not divine, defined beings show up and we're interacting with out there, boom, you might not see a plane all day and it's going to leave that little strip there right next to it. What is it, an antagonistic? Does the cabal in that afraid of these energies and don't want us to connect to them, so if they can put the chemtrail up there, 90% of the people go, oh, it's all chemtrail. No, that's frequency in chemtrail. It's not spiritual. It's not God. Does anybody just look up and say, wow, look at consciousness, look at God, look at creation? Why see the negativity in it? Why say it's the devil or this narrative or that narrative? I just see the beauty now. I had to go and look at all that darkness. And I got to tell you, the internet, nobody came up and tapped me on the shoulder and said, excuse me, come around the alley here. I want to show you the New World Order and the chemtrails and the nano. No, I had to go around the corner and get online with them. And you know how these people work online? Online is just the new programmed television. Even more insidious in a way, because a lot of the people we think are our friends and are doing us a favor, telling us all this narrative, are doing it to keep our vibration low so we don't have our awakening too fast without them being in control of it. We got chemtrails, we got nanofibers, we got 5G, all this victimization stuff to make us feel powerless and unempowered. Or we need somebody else to wake us up. We need to go share this.
We got to come to the realization that there's nothing here that can hurt us. The only way anything can hurt us is if you believe that it will hurt you. That's how simple it is. It is what you think and what you believe. That's what's going to interact and manifest for you. So
And I realize,
you lose the victimization, and then you see, like you said, that there's nothing outside of God. It's all in God.
and to pick up the responsibility and realize you have the
Yes.
gifted abilities to do the things that he can do. Be responsible and do it. And that's the hardest thing. I think we all work with that. To sit there and have that big epiphany where the rainbow light touched my eyes and realize, oh my God, I'm such an intricate part of the whole thing. None of it would happen without me. Everybody has its place, and God's perfect and loves himself completely and everything completely. There's really no one's going to be lost. It's just the experience of him, of us remembering of who we are in connection to him, right? Or it, of consciousness.
We're gonna have to go a little quicker because I really don't want this to go over 2 hours. I pulled up another image, and here we go. I mean, now this has a lot of geometric patterns that would that's not a normal flow of what you would see in a puffy white cloud in the sky. You see structure. I see structure in this one, and again, I still see the heart stepping stool, stepping stones, in it, and hearts everywhere. But this could be a spreading of like an angelic wing, even showing the feathers out, or a floating city on the upper area, or I mean, it could be. There's so much going on at this moment on 5:31 at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This was all going on simultaneously, with just clicking right after one after another. Okay, GPK, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree, and it looks like it's just building a real fortified wall of energy right there, and you can see the little ripples going through it. And yeah, this happens often, and there'll always be like a little cutout or like a what they call a hole punch, so you could see the blue in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll make it short so that we can get through these before the time
Mike?
goes over.
Yeah, because I don't want to keep you guys too long, and we're on image 14. So, Mike.
Yeah, I see the the magnetosphere and the bands of the magnetosphere. And when we interact with them, they kind of look like the Akashic record, and they'll pull down like that. If you think about bands of electromagnetic energy up there, and when they get compressed, charged up, they make that wave pattern. I don't think it's anything to do with HARP and them victimizing us, because I don't see weather being an effective weapon in killing mass casualties.
Okay. My husband is leaving for work. Yeah, these are just fantastic. Okay. This one to me looks like a floating city. Just with like trees and just, it's phenomenal. GPK, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I can see where you're seeing that, and that those are always amazing. And it's always interesting. I've seen giant boats before, and I've seen giant animals that almost remind me of something out of a Godzilla movie. It's always interesting what takes form.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like the narrative. If we're bringing the 5D here, that when these, when our magnetosphere is weakened, these new etheric God energies, holy energies come in, that our new reality is actually right there. It's just not at ground level yet. Maybe the more that we keep holding this positive space, I see the acceleration of what we're doing in the sky dramatically lately, especially with this COVID. I'm like, whoa, no wonder all the people are inside. The sky looks so crazy. More people would be noticing.
Okay, now this one, again, looks like popcorn of, hearts, but also other formations within the hearts.
Yeah, it almost.
Animals. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it almost looks like a small explosion of it shooting it outwards towards the left. Up in the top corner.
Explosion of love.
Yes.
Mike?
How did these, I want to hear more about how you felt when you were filming these. Did you realize the significance while you were filming it, or does it more hit you after you started watching it back?
Well, I was holding in that space of the messages that I had put out about unconditional love. So I was holding in that space of just unconditional love for everyone, no matter where you're at. You are perfect, and you are exactly where you need to be. There's nothing that you need to do. It's just you are, just the Creator loves us so unconditionally, and then we reflect that unconditional love out to our brothers and sisters. It's that's the space that I was in and am still in. It's just it's a real beautiful place to be, in my heart, and the way that I look at others, and the divine within them, and how we're all in this together. We're not, we have free will, and we're each unique. We're not to be automatons. That would be really boring, but at the same time, each of us being so unique, it's just love. I mean, just love them for the way they express themselves, for the way that they are. So that's where I was resonating and feeling, and that's where my heart space was at when this showed up. And like I said, it was after the 2 streams that I did about the simple truth, and you boil it down to the simplicity of the truth. It doesn't have to be a bunch of studies or college degree, or the simple truth is that we are loved unconditionally. And why we love the Creator, or why we're drawn to the Creator, is because the Creator has loved us with such a pure love that we are wanting to reconnect and get closer, and then show and reflect out around us that unconditional love as equals. So GPK, what's your thoughts on this one?
Oh, it's like what I said earlier. To me, it does look like a high energy, explosion. And of course, the best intention is love to go with that.
Okay, now pulled up, this is where it gets interesting with the geometric patterns of possibly some kind of a craft up there. As you can see, these lines and boxes on this, the bottom one that I just zoomed in on, and then it looks like there's a window with several beings watching out this window on what's going on around, what's going on Earth. How are they handling this? Like the crowd of witnesses.
Yeah, I'm sure they're keeping an eye on everything and everyone that's on what's happening right now.
What do you think about these odd geometric lines here on the bottom?
Yeah, those are weird. I see those a lot of rectangles and triangles and stuff.
It looks like a construct, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does.
Mike, what's your thoughts? Did we lose him?
He might have stepped away. He's muted right now.
Oh, okay. Well,
There
we'll
we go. No, here I am. Yeah, that right now with these super photogenic and energetic energy transfers and imagery happening, perfect time to go out and start just pointing them out to people. Today, they was so all this imagery is above me all the time now. I mean, it's not even a coincidence that it's happening, but I stopped and just pointed out like at least 3 people today. I stopped and started saying, "Hey, look at the halo around the sun, and look at those cool ass clouds." Right? This lady goes, "What?" She pulls her cell phone out, starts taking pictures of it, starts talking with me, and she is on Zoom and online, and she's all talking about awakening and standing up and changing things and all this. And so we sat there and shared for a half hour. At 8:30, I'm jumping over to her Zoom meeting. The other people that I were talking to, I just had a great, 5-minute thing. Nothing heavy on them. Show them a couple of my dragons and some rainbows. Drop a little of this narrative on them, and I realized I don't have to look for the aha moment. I do it so often that I'll catch people months or a couple years later. "Hey, you told me about those clouds, and now you got me looking at them and taking pictures." So just recently, a guy that I told 2.5 years ago saw me at the laundromat and comes, "Hey, you're that cloud guy. Come check my pictures out." Right? We went and had a meditation, like a healing meditation energy ceremony the other day. He's all about this narrative. We can like finish each other's our cover or sentences right now. And I met him in a park, talked to him for like 2 hours, and had this deep kind of conversation like this with him and his girlfriend. 2.5 years later, he comes back and like he's way up on that same level now. So you don't have to see that aha moment when you're trying to tell your family and other people, because it really makes us kind of divides us when we think, oh, we have the answer to save the world, and everybody else is just too asleep and not. That's a big divide when we think that everybody else's inner knowing is broken. I think if we just take the judgment out about it and think that everybody else has a different catalyst to the same destination.
Okay, I pulled up the next image, and what I did was, because I was fascinated by this, I tried to zoom in on it, and then snap a photo of that, that thing that just looks like it's dropping information or light code down onto the people. And at the end of the little things, it looks like it's dropping hearts. So, but I see hearts and everything. What's your thoughts on it, GPK?
Yeah, you can almost see the forms, like if it's almost like water running over them.
I see a huge subliminal face with the brow being at the top, the nose, the 2 sunken eyes, like a big handlebar mustache or a face shield, or they're very subliminal in there. And I just wonder why some days they go over the top and it's so much clearer. And I just think that it's our guides up there, kind of in a way. I just don't see the. Sure, these energies are challenging, and they bring up some issues that need dealing with for me anyway, and some healing. So I kind of see that happening to a lot of people. And man, I remember being stuck for 3 years in that victimization narrative where I thought I have to go share this hell bubble that I've adopted for myself to save the world. And you know how disruptive that is to somebody's life. You want to go up and put that kind of a heavy vibe on them, like that's going to change things. So I feel some ways that we work against ourselves when we, propagate this negative stuff back to us. Most people look up and see what we're looking at right now. It's chemical, it's frequency. The chemtrails work perfectly for the mind control distraction layer, where they're not going to admit no time soon that that's spiritual and that has something that needs to, or that's good for us or could be, communicating to us.
Okay, I pulled up the next one. And again, so much going on, with all of this. Again, hearts, And then we see definite streaks of light codes, light language. GPK, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, and you can also right in the center, it almost like it's forming a triangle, or not a triangle, but a square uh, in the void. Part of the between the clouds.
Mm-hmm. Yep, geometric patterns, like anomalies going on.
Yeah,
And up in the right hand corner, it looks like a face wearing sunglasses.
I know my guys probably remember, but there was a period of time, I want to say at the end of 2018, we were seeing donut clouds very often.
Okay, Mike, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, we went through phases. I can remember, it's just the frequency of it. When what's happening on my side of the country today, tomorrow, the next day, it's happening to other sky watches, and even crosses the ocean. The Jack streaming in England will have it just a little off a day or two, and super similar clouds. So there is an intelligence up there. I'm just trying to wonder how we can get more people to discern it fairly, unjudgmentally. Does anybody feel attacked by the sky?
Okay, check this one out. Oh my gosh. Talking about, a construct in the sky. I'm going to skip my opinion on this, and I'm going to go straight to GPK. What's your thoughts on this one?
Oh, my thoughts are that these things are just getting more huge in the sky, and if a trail were to even get close to this thing, it would look so tiny and minuscule compared to everything that you see right here in this frame.
And that window, I see that window again with a crowd of witnesses watching over us. And again, light codes, and wow. Okay, Mike, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, that I kind of wonder what the magnetosphere and the solar energies were doing that day, and how you felt. Were you feeling buzzy in the chest, or like super focused and not worried about anything at ground level and focused on the sky?
I was holding that love space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I just snapped them. These are all one right after another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's very helpful to see everybody going through this, because do you see any chemtrails in the pictures we've been seeing? At a general at all?
No.
Me either. But do you realize the large portion of our community that are stuck there? Absolutely. And their videos are they're just crying out for all of us to wake up and save them from their own thought forms, because the narrative has been picked up by some unscrupulous people, not just the government. A guy like somebody from Boston kind of doesn't have a way to make other money legally, and he's realized, hey, I can get on here and just run this narrative and make himself something, and sure, everybody has that type of a moment where they maybe need to see that kind of darkness and that kind of deception so they can discern the higher truth when it comes along. I did. I had to go through all those, we're going to change the world here. If I could just talk to enough people around me to think they're all as victimized as I believe I am. Oh, shit, that goes nowhere.
Okay, here's the last picture. It's image 22, and then I've got a short video that I want to play that shows you that these were actually all going on simultaneously in my sky. So again, I see geometric patterns. I see that window with a crowd of witnesses watching over. I do see a line, but then like we seen the line going through the sun, we seen the line going through the moon, and it almost looks like the silver lining, like tethering the new energies to us, to what's going on within us. So, GPK, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's photos like these that always keep us looking up constantly every day. I mean, right there on the uh, top left, you see how it's almost circling around on itself to make a complete circle.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these are the moments that make it worth, sharing all these.
Yeah, and as we went on, it's like more things became more defined and like a construct, like something, there instead of it being just a cloud and that we're, perceiving it. This is like, no, there's something going on there because of the way that this, whatever this is built. It looks built. It looks like a construct because of the patterns on whether this be a ship or, the angelic realm, or with the window of, with the, looks like people or beings watching over what's going on. It's like, whoa. And it's kind of sad that so many people have left the stream because like the best ones are coming up at the end. Mike, what's your thoughts?
Am I the only one that wants to know what these are going to look like at ground level? If they get any more solid and come to ground level? My whole thing about a ship, I don't see nuts and bolt ships. I see a different energetic dimension that might be able to become more solid at some point. And what are those going to be like at ground level? And I mean, are they victimizing anybody else in the sky? Basically, all the people that fly hang gliders, planes, all the sky activity sports. I don't know. No. I just think that this is benevolent that's happening here. It's and this doesn't explain a Project Bluebeam to me at all. I don't see how doing this all day over you, it didn't victimize you, and they put all that effort to put this big show to fool just you out of the hundreds of thousands of people that could have seen it. Nah, way too personalized.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, these images are amazing. Okay. Now, what I want to do is pull up that short video and share that so people can see that. Then they can see that these were actually all taken at the same time. And where is that? No. I'm looking for the one that says 5:30. Where are you? Should be in here. Hold on. Where did it go? Well, maybe I won't get to share that. It's just making itself hard to find. Hold on. Let's try this. You guys can talk amongst yourselves on what we have.
So great seeing you here, Tim. And Darlene, great seeing you here. Yeah, I just feel inspired to talk about my process tonight. These images will be confirmation to you. They'll get more elaborate, more often, more synchronistic, and it's just to give us confirmation to the these look like entities absorbing or being reflected with radiation, light, energy. I think they're in way more control of what's really going on up there than we can admit. In a good way. I mean, we all kind of just play a role here to have that separation moment for a minute to make the reconnection more grand. We just get to finally realize that, we're God and we're we're all good. We're never gonna lose our place in creation. We're an intricate part of the whole web of life and consciousness.
Okay, let me see if I got this right.
Yeah, Gmail sucks. I got stuck on pictures and oh no, my Google Drive got me. It got me for a couple of years with the pictures. My account
Okay.
ran out and then I blew it somehow.
Can you guys see it?
It's not playing yet.
A file.
Oh, I've opened it. Hold on.
So, Michelle, do you think you could share these with people in your environment? Do you ever, like, in grocery store line or something, but now because we're waiting outside, just point out some of the interesting energies? I'm getting great responses. People know there's something up. It's not like we're really doing all this alone. It's I was sitting back a while ago in a hot tub, and there was a lady in there. She was kind of the swim instructor at the place, and in a yoga pose in the hot tub. And then when she broke after a few minutes, I looked at her. I said, "Do you feel the change in the planetary energetics?" She says, "Oh, yes, I do. And we're all changing at a cellular level. And the purging and the stuff has been off the hook. And that the colors look more 5D on the branches and everything." And she was like 60 plus years old and could finish every word of that narrative with me. The confirmation on that, I was set, floated for the rest of the week.
Mike, I was catching a football game last year, and it was towards the end. You know how they do those blimp shots, of the stadium and stuff, and they had a shot of, I can't remember which game it was, but it was a stadium, and then in the background they had the sun setting, and it was a totally weird sky, and you hear the announcer go, "Oh wow, never seen that before," and then they go on and carry on like nothing. But that was so interesting just to catch that little spot.
Okay, I'm going to try and do it under a share entire screen, and so you guys are going to have to let me know if you see it.
Does anybody see the pattern in that most of us sky watchers are a solo event type activity? That there's not too many neighbors or couples or groups that get together and do it? If someone's filming, they're out there doing it by themselves, right? Basically. Yeah. I think I've seen a couple people that do it with their wife and their kids around and stuff. But could you imagine if we got together and had a...
do you see it?
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go ahead and play it.
Yeah, what we would get.
To show that this was all at the same time. There's the moon. It's only like a minute long. I hear the birds just singing away. There's that wave cloud, or the screw cloud. There's those constructs. Hearts and hearts and hearts.
That was fantastic.
So that shows you that was all at the same time. All those images, I just went around in a circle and just snap, 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 snap. And then I was like, and then I took a 1 minute video just going across it just to, that was all happening simultaneously in the sky.
Yeah, that's about how all of us do it. We catch it, and then we take as much footage and photos as we can, and then we share it.
Yeah, and for me, I've been doing it so I don't have to stand out there all day and wait for perfect shots. It just when it's happening. I feel it calls you outside. You just have that energetic buzz, that feel the excitement of you're gonna go out, and I can tell days that come up and there's just nothing. The energy's not there, or it'll be when there's actual precipitation in our area, and it's just flat grayed out and all the dark clouds. It's just not there. I don't go out and even you just know it's not nothing that you can go out and actually connect with that day. Then it'll change and wake up in the morning and first thing you go, oh, it's going to be a good day today. You could just tell.
And I want to say that the links to both of these gentlemen's channels are in the description box, which has been on the banner the entire time, showing you where that you can find these gentlemen. And I appreciate your guys' time that was spent sharing this anomaly that happened just a few days ago, mind you. And yes, Mike, I do share my images with GPK. I send him some, but he gets a wealth of these treasures piled in on him. So if you guys are sending submissions to him,
we've done several.
Time. Give him some time to go through the process, because editing and getting everything all lined out, it does take some time. And when you're getting a treasure trove of people submitting these beautiful images, it takes some time. So yes, you guys.
So I've done some with GPK.
We'll start with GPK first.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for having me and Mike on and sharing these awesome sky photos. It's an interesting thing to experience, and I'm just glad everyone's here to watch it and conversate. You just got to keep supporting each other's channels, and if you see a new one pop up, don't be afraid to drop a comment or a like, and that's how it gets people motivated to keep sharing.
Great. Mike, any final thoughts?
Yeah, so I can tell that this was a big day for you. I've had them also where, all through the day, I was just one after another with just, more clarity and just confirmation. It's stunning. It really is a lot to integrate. When I look back at that time and go, when I look at this videos you have, that looks like a couple weeks or a month's worth of shots, you know what I mean, to have that much activity. So when a big day comes up like that, I just wonder, what's the next step? It just seems to grow and get bigger and more elaborate. Are we missing anything else? I mean, does anybody else feel an urgency to try to pass a positive message of this, what's going on? And because this is the game in town, and this is who we're working with. If you ask me, chemtrails are a first grade conspiracy distraction, kind of a thing you just got to get over sometimes. These things look way more impressive and capable than chemtrails. These entities pull up before the trail does, and when the trail gets there, it's pitiful. It's pathetic, and it usually just manifests a little stripe around it. And the narrative about how Indian in the machine that's been doing this for 13 years goes back, and these chemtrails are eaten up by these sylphs. The sylphs are responsible for replenishing our atmosphere and cleaning kind of unhealthy activity and things. So I see a benevolence in our sky, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, this happens. When this happens, I look at it as an affirmation, and it does happen frequently. I just don't always have my phone or camera with me, and I just pass them on over to my friend and allow him to do his thing with them, because I don't think anything is meant to be just like mine. I think it's for everybody, and everybody has their talent and skill. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for coming and joining us this evening. This was a wonderful, wonderful share of such a phenomena, and to show how close each of those images were taken. They were taken in succession, and I wanted to do it in a timely manner because this just happened the other day, and get this out to everybody with two sky watchers that are, highly respected in the community of skywatching, getting their thoughts, opinions, impressions, and information on what they were seeing going on in the skies. And with that said, I want to thank everybody. Have yourself a wonderful